Hi there, this is Christine, demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and this is video 2 of 2 for the September class cards. So again, I used this amazing All About Autumn designer series paper because it's gorgeous and I love it. So in your little envelope, you've got the base is thick white again. So this is also die cut with the radiating stitches. If you'll recall the previous card we made, it's basically two dies that I've put together. So I've cut out a frame and then we used the other one on the previous card. And we're going to use the frame on this one. So this piece is the back side of the pumpkins, which is so pretty. And works so beautifully with the Lost Lagoon. And then you've got a teeny tiny little piece to stamp your sentiment. So I've got thank you over here. And the other card that I had made says grateful for you. So it is big enough for both of those sentiments. So let's get started. So there's not a lot of stamping on this card. That designer series paper is really the star because I've just smitten with it and wanted to share it with you. All right, so for this one, now this frame is not very big and it's got these little cuts all along it, right, to make the pattern. So I don't want to fuss too much with dimensionals or anything like that, but I want it to stand out. So what I'm doing is I'm actually gluing it directly to the image. So again, placement is entirely up to you. Maybe you really want to include these leaves so you can put it on the side. There's also two different images going. It's the same sheet of paper that's half and half. So this one's got a kind of green leaf in the center, and this one is mostly pumpkins, a little bit of leaves over here. I think I will center it. And to do this, I'm going to use my liquid glue. Oh, darn it. I didn't put it upside down, so the glue is not at the tip. But I'm going to because I don't want the glue bleeding through, I'm going to be very, I'm not going to put a lot. So I'm going to dab just a tiny bit on each corner, tiny bit on the middle here, and that's it. So if you're doing this with a very limited amount of glue, the tip is just to hold it down a bit so that you know that it's actually going to stay put. So it doesn't have to be very long, just otherwise it can just pop off. And then you haven't got your glued pieces that you wanted. There we go. So I'm just going to set that aside. Let's do our sentiment while that dries a little bit. Which one am I going to do? With love and gratitude. I do like that. It's very Thanksgiving-y. I can't believe it's Thanksgiving next weekend. Anyway, let's come quickly. So again, if you are not sure about your ink and you don't feel that it's picking up, just use that white eraser trick. I'm not sure about this one actually. It's a bit splotchy. So if you're curious as to what the eraser trick is and you haven't watched the other video, here's the eraser trick. So white eraser, I'm just rubbing it on my stamp. Just gonna gently wipe that to make sure there's no residue. And we're gonna ink up again. And I don't remember who said it, but video is watching. Someone said paper has two sides, and they do not lie. There we go. Oh, that's so much better, right? So The one thing I have, so a little secret here. The reason I do these edged cuts, these little triangle cuts, is that I know I'm not going to be able to get a nice clean straight cut. So by doing the little corner like that, no one knows it's not clean and straight because it's a corner cut. So that is my little trick. All right, so it's a super simple card. There's really not much to it. We've got our sentiment, and we've got our accent piece. I'm going to put some glue behind that. And we're going to use dimensionals behind the other piece. You could glue the other piece flat as well, if you prefer. So that is fairly straight. Then I'm going to put this piece on dimensionals. So I am going to put a couple more on here than I sometimes would, just because I'm probably posting this and I want it to stay intact, elevated. I don't know if you're like me, but whenever I use dimensionals, I find them all over the house. They just stick to me. All right. So double check again your orientation. I feel that this one's upside down, in my opinion. Anyway, it is what it is. And I am lining it up to have like an even border with the piece that I put down on the bottom, just for symmetry's sake. And then I'm going to put the sentiment on dimensionals as well, just to pop that up. And that's basically it for this card. It's super simple. And there we go. So for this one, and then I've got this one as well, I stamped the pumpkin on the back so I can show you how I did that. So the pumpkin is a 2-step stamp. So actually, you know what? Before I go too far, I'm going to pull back in my scrap paper because I did have the same issue with this stamp, unfortunately, where it needed a little TLC to look good, as you can see. This was my my sheet from the class. Okay, so let's test it. Let's see if there's maybe still enough eraser glue on it. And if not, I will just do that trick again. Actually doesn't look too bad. So, pumpkin. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. So if I'm going to use the stamp again, I will use the eraser to kind of rough it up a bit. Now, this stamp set has, the stem is separate from the pumpkin. That's so that you can bring in another color if you wish and have it stand out. So I happen to have my copper clay ink spot, which was it May's kit? I forget now. May or June. Anyhow, so I've inked up my stem, and they've cut this out, or not cut it, well, I guess so. In the stamp, it's like cut out perfectly to fit the stem. So just line that up best as you can with the lines and then the outline of the stem, and then there you go. So that looks pretty cute. So that is card 2 of 2 for the month of September. I don't know what I did with them. Oh, they're right here. So I hope you like these. Again, if you have any questions at all, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. And in case you haven't seen, the next month for October is going to be the Christmas card kit for Paper Pumpkin. I'm also going to hold my class the first week of November because I want to do it after Halloween. I know that the week of Halloween is super hectic for many people, so we're going to do it the week after. Or actually, no, it is the week of Halloween. It's just a few days after. Sorry, it's going to be like November 2nd. So there's information on my Facebook page on that. And just reach out if you have any questions at all. Thanks.